folks, we're back.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Dustin Garman here, and as always, be like throw chairs at him. My co-host here.
I, I'm broken now. Once again, this is not good.
And for another episode of Tell Us About Yourself, I just want to go over a few notes real quick. Of course, um, continue always remember Bob Dunn in his recovery. And to remember, I was talking to him the other day. I know a couple weeks ago he had went to the hospital for having issues, health issues, and talking to Joshua Bryan over this week. He was talking about getting healthier and getting on a strict diet, trying to better himself futuristic wise, and I applaud him for that. There's nothing wrong with that. Health and a lot of times I lost a lot of weight for self love, so there's a lot of good ways and positives out of that. So remember him on his little journey. um Also remember Capcom this weekend is going on. I'm looking forward to seeing updates, and sadly I'm not going to be able to go, of course, but I'll be looking for updates. Another thing, there is ice coming up here, and it looks like no work for me tomorrow. And I know a bunch of you northern people are like, "Oh, it's just ice or a little snow." We got snowmobiles, so.
I don't want to hear nothing
But
about your ice problems. I live
trust
in New
me,
York.
trust me, snow, ice, shut the state down. Like it's eggs. Like hide the eggs, hide the bread, and pretty much keep hold of your cart so no one steals it. It gets about as crazy as a KFC on a Sunday night after or Sunday evening after church. So yeah,
Is
Really
that a
that crazy?
thing? Is that a thing?
that's
I've
like a
never heard
buy
of
one
that.
get one free buffet.
I've never heard of as crazy as a KFC after church. Never heard of that, but okay, I'll take your word for it.
That's southern slang. But anyway, our special guest today is none other than Jason. How's it going, buddy?
It's going. It's going. It's pretty good. I'm actually getting ready for Captain Con myself. I spent the day uh, putting some decks together, getting my cards ready to head over there. I'm leaving Thursday, coming home Sunday. So I can't wait to see everybody who's going to Captain Con.
And for me, where is that normally held? I can't remember.
That is in Warwick, Rhode Island, at the Crown Plaza, right by the airport.
Okay.
So uh, that's going to be a great. I think it's going to be a great time. The award ceremony is going to be streamed to Twitch, courtesy of my good friend Brian Schmidt. Wait for it, Mister. Wait for it.
All right. I'm sure a lot of people looking forward to that. I'll be looking for updates as well. It's always fun watching them stream during these events.
Oh yeah.
So, Jason, I was talking to you, before we went on air, and for me, as always, I love this show, and especially if I don't know a lot of people that well, that's what this show is for. Um, Now, when did you first get into Super Show?
So that's kind of like a funny story. So I was actually heard about it a couple of years ago. Just offhanded, I went to we have a store in the Super Show community called Legendary Realms. It's my locals,
Mm-hmm.
and at the time I was playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons, and they had ordered I talked to the store owner a lot over Slack because I work for the Long Island Tabletop Expo, which is a great convention. And he mentioned it, like that there were a couple of guys playing it that day when I went in to pick up a book, and he told me about it. I just never followed up on it. So fast forward to last year, April, during Long Island Tabletop Expo, one of my games I was DMing just ended early, so I had a lot of time to kill. I had a few hours before my next game, and I started walking around the convention. I said, you know what? Let me check out what's going on at the in the card game section. So I go in there and I meet Steve Resk. Steve invites me to demo the game, and who other but Candyman Dan demos the game for me. And end of the match, I was sold. I walked up, I bought myself a Sage versus Chamomile Tea deck box, and I hung out for like an hour or so watching people play, still learning a little bit, and then I had to go and do other stuff for the convention. But ever since then, I've been going to Legendary Realms on Mondays. That's our locals day. And I've been doing online tournaments. Hell, I had such FOMO when Origins was going on. I almost paid out of pocket the $900 just to show up to Origins, because I was like, I love these guys, my friends are there, oh man, this is great. I'm glad I didn't, because that would have put me financially in the hole. But that's how much I like this game, that I was willing to just be like, on a Friday after the everything officially started, just for what, 2 nights, 3 nights, to go out to Cincinnati. It's Cincinnati, right?
Oh,
Origins.
Cleveland.
Cleveland. Okay. Like, I was willing to spend $900 to go out there.
It's this game, and I've talked about it at cons and stuff before, and of course you've got the enthusiasm and stuff
Yeah.
like that. A lot of newer people, as I've stated before, that's what draws them in as well. They're hearing all these people chanting and getting into it and stuff like that. But it's how's the feeling, getting into this community? It's really, for me, it was heartwarming. I felt like I'm friends with everybody, when
I have never been welcomed into a community faster than this community. Like, as slow as it was, like, and when I say like faster, I mean like the local guys just welcomed me with open arms. Like, that first locals I went to with, I met Big Match Pete, I met Press 1P, Taylor Schwab, Le Penguin, Matt Haas, all of them. And they were all great. They are all great. And I like, Taylor Schwab has become like a brother to me. Like, he is one of my two best friends in this game. The other one is a former guest of you guys, Mr. Chris Bridges, has become like a brother to me. I haven't talked to him in a little while because things have been rough on my end, and just life's been so life has been crazy. So, like, I hope he's doing okay. Like, I gotta reach out to him soon, but I literally spend every chance I get with Penguin, man. Like, he has become like as close to me as real family. And like, Steve Resk too. Like, Steve is great too. Like, I chat with Steve every once in a while just to shoot the breeze,
And that's another thing I like about this game too. It's kind of like I was showing my girlfriend last year. I was telling her about this game and stuff, and it's an awesome feeling when you actually tell her about this game and you're like, oh, I've got a friend in Las Vegas, or I've got a friend from New York, or every now and then they'll come down or they'll have a con near us, and it's always heartwarming, I guess, to know that it don't matter who you are in this game, we're just instantly family.
Let
It's
me
it's hard to explain.
let me tell you about a guy from Las Vegas in this community. His name is Mark Perry. No, Mark Perry has become a really good friend of mine. Like, I really like him. We had a really good program back in, I think it was November. We had a very good program. Brian Schmidt had to find a replacement for his triad title shot because he had won the trios title at, I believe it was Marktoberfest. So he chose me. And me and Mark Perry had just started shooting promos at each other, and we're messaging each other back and forth after the fact, like, oh my god, that was such a great promo, I'm loving this.
That man broke giant magic.
Did he really? That's fantastic.
He's talking about Mark. That was one of the first good rivalries I had with him, with one of my characters. Mark, he's a pretty cool guy, and he always helped me get signatures while he's in there in Las Vegas because they always have them big
Yeah.
shows. So, kind of, moving right along. Who was your first, competitor wise that you really found a liking to?
So my first competitor that I ever chose to play was one of the only 4 that I had at the start. When I started going to the Legendary Realms for locals, I only had access to Chamomile Tea, Sage, the Wiccan Witch, Lexi the Punk Rock Pixie, and Gia. And I took a real liking to Chamomile Tea. So I start looking on the website, who else is available? And I look under independent wrestlers. I'm like, they have independent wrestlers?
Boom.
And I see my literal, I had the summer before, I had literally just gotten back into wrestling with AEW.
Yeah.
And I became enamored by Kenny Omega. So everybody who knows me in this community knows that I am a Kenny Omega player. I love that competitor. Chris Pagillo, the Italian Boombata. Met up with me at an AEW show at the UBS Arena here on Long Island, and I think for $80 sold me an entire Kenny Omega deck.
Nice.
So I've been using him, but I've been branching out more because it's like, I don't want to be one trick. I don't want to be a one note guy.
Well, and sometimes, just playing one deck and just having one, to me, it gets old. I like to expand, and
it really does. And that's why, I will still go back to Kenny, but there are a lot of competitors now that I really enjoy. Like Piglet, I've been really enjoying playing Piglet. I haven't done well with him yet, but I really enjoy from the Catalyst set, Colossal Mike Law. He's pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I there are so many competitors, and I'm actually looking forward to hopefully getting myself in the game. I joined the CCC this year, so once that officially starts, here's hoping.
Okay, when you came into the game, you also brought a couple of other friends, right?
I brought a friend with me. I've shown other friends of mine the game, but they never really followed up on picking it up and coming to locals, just because of distance and schedules and stuff. But my good friend of like 20 plus years, Jeff Delisle, he comes to our locals now, really picked up the game fast. So last June, my first real big Super Show event was the event at Highlander Games in Jersey, which was for Forbidden Door. It was a create a card, not a create a character. And that was Jeff's first ever time playing the game. Jeff was going through some hard times, and I said, listen, come with me tomorrow. We'll set you up, play the game. Everyone is so great in this community. You'll love it. He made top cut with Gia as his first ever competitor, and that was his first day ever playing. And he's been with it ever since. And he's coming with me to Captain Con this weekend. He's coming to Grand Gathering. We're doing Origins. So, and he's been welcomed with open arms in the Legendary Realms community.
And that's cool that you're in a good group of people. There's sometimes there's newer players that they live in a small town, they're by themselves, and let's just say, for instance, maybe a group is about 4 or 5 hours away from them. But
yeah,
the cool thing about now, and I'm not saying cool thing about COVID, but the cool thing that we did during COVID is to have these internet tournaments and stuff like that to keep it going, try to keep morale for those that don't really have locals. So I think that's another cool thing.
Right. And I love the online scene. It's even if I don't play in the tournament, it's great to just sit in there and chill with the likes of who's in the chat right now. Hold the line, Harry. I hold.
Right. I need to take 1 second. Flashback.
Oh, you're good, man.
Of course I'm real. How could you say I'm not real?
I saw
I'm
that question
on your
and I was like,
screen right now. I talk to your dad daily.
Yeah, no, Harry's been a really good friend too. Like I really enjoy like just shooting the breeze with Harry. Always have great matches with Harry. I'm actually, talking to him about how to improve on being a GM for local promotion and stuff like that, because I kind of like do all the tournament stuff at Legendary Realms for locals. And we had I think it was an hour and 45-minute match during one of Simon Strauss's chaotic events for Father's Day last year. It was insane, and it was probably the best match of Super Show I've ever had, and to this day.
Most people, when they have hour-and-a-half long matches, they go, "Thank God that match is finally over."
No, I was shaking. That was the best match. I loved it. I don't care how long it goes for me. I'll do it.
The finals, that's better.
It was the finals.
Yeah, some people have that for match 1, and they're like, "I have 4 more matches to go."
Let's not forget the Thursday event recently that went on until not by recently, I mean a few months ago, that went on until 2 a.m. It was 3 hours.
We've had tournaments that have gone till 3 a.m.
That's crazy.
I had
Jesus.
Probably my longest match I've ever had was 3.5 hours with James Booker at a get together.
Oh, and that's a tough match because James Booker's a really, really strong opponent. I faced him a few times. He's really good.
Yeah, we had a crazy match for 3.5 hours. So anyway, I wanted to ask, how's the? Do we have any questions Twitch wise?
no questions outside of that really rude question by a little child. But otherwise, so Jason,
Okay.
A question that I had, because you still have a background as a DM or GC. How do
Yeah.
you feel that storytelling elements from being a GM has helped you try to create your own character in this super show world?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. Okay, so um you I kind of took it as like a challenge. It's easy for me to come up with a character in a fictional setting for myself that's not going to get a lot of use. The challenging part was coming up with a character that I have to fit into this semi real world wrestling federation. And I've I've had a lot of ideas, and I eventually boiled it down to two. One people know about. It's like the worst kept secret. It was the vigilante thing.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, vigilantism, it's real. It happens. But like the superhero vigilantism, how can I make that work in a wrestling setting? Well, we already kind of had that. We had that with the Hurricane. We had luchadors who are like who are akin to me as superheroes.
You might want to be careful when you say luchador. The superstar might
That guy, I
True.
had to get extra security. I brought that up on Dojo to keep him out of our cosmic draft at ArmorCon that I was running. Anyways, so like what superhero, you know, works in the real world? Batman. Who's my favorite Batman character? Jason Todd, Red Hood. So how like I the idea that I had was let's make a mix of Jason Todd and Batman outright, not like the hardcore like stakes that he does, but let's combine the two. And I haven't fleshed that character out yet, but for the CCC I was like, I need to come up with a character. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking and I'm like, this character's is going to be in the game. This character's going to be around longer than just like a one shot that I run at a tabletop convention, or for a couple of sessions here and there in one of my games that I run online. So you think, well, who's more prevalent to you? Yourself, because I look at the people around me who's
Hmm.
some of the biggest personalities in the game. Some of the biggest personalities are themselves, like John Press 1P, Big Match Pete, uh, Steve Resk is himself, like, and he's one of the biggest personalities in this game.
in wrestling.
Like,
It's always said that you, the best character that you can portray is yourself.
exactly. So coming from a character creative like standpoint, the character's there. You just got to bring them to life. And like you said, you just got to turn it up to 11. So this is like a real test for me to bring that to 11, because this is long term. Something that everybody hears in wrestling. This is long term storytelling. And if you can nail the long term storytelling, you've done great.
But the other big thing to remember is that because it's long term storytelling, the character is never one dimensional. They're never staying the same character. The character's always evolving because you're always.
Exactly. Exactly. You start out at point A, and then you're going to wind up at point B, but there's going to be change along that line from A to B.
Start as Candy Man, and you end up
End up as Emo Man. I can't wait for her to come out. That's gonna
That
be
character is gonna be obsolete if they ever make
yup. Oh man.
it. Am I extra quiet? Give me a second.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to really putting my storytelling to the test with the CCC. I've been working on some things behind the scenes with some people, as far as storylines for outside the CCC. So we'll see where that goes. But yeah.
That was always fun for me, like trying to start. What I did, like I was telling you earlier, my first person that I chose was to rival against was Mark Perry. He was the alien, and the cool thing that I think that works the best is, behind the scenes. Of course, you're posting promos, and you're trying to make it realist, as realistic. Kind of like a rivalry as you can. But on the back scenes, you can give each other details. Um, things that would what I used to do is when I would start a rivalry, I would tell the person that I'm having a rivalry with hit points that would kind of, like okay, for instance, one of my challenges, I actually told them, I said, mention I've never held a title, or some kind of hit point that they could hit on, um and work through it with that, and try to make it, not let people outside, know that you're talking to, just trying to make it really authentic, I guess, best way to put it.
Make them think that everything's real, and
Yeah.
you're taking real shots.
One of
Yes.
the and it still goes today. One of the best things that Mark Perry did was start calling me a sellout, because he was the triad champion with New Invader, and I chose to completely undermine that with the dweeb. If I won that title, was I gonna have a successful defense down the line? Probably not. However, storyline wise, it worked because it it was me, in my mind, it was me versus Mark, and as long as Mark didn't win, I didn't care. So
You know, that's
Cannoli won the title, but I made sure Mark lost.
yeah. Thanks for letting Noli end up with that belt. Really good for his
Yeah, he hasn't shut up about it, and I'm so tired of hearing. Listen, let me tell you, he doesn't stop rubbing his Marvel Snap luck in our face in the SRG Marvel Snap group
Oh, I'm
on
sure.
Facebook. Man has the luck of the Irish on his side.
Now, for upcoming goes and stuff, what kind of goes do you kind of, we're here and fixing to be February, but it's last January. What are some goes looking forward to this year?
So I said since day one that titles come and go, but being in the game, that's forever. You're always going to be in the game. So I want my goal, whether it's through the CCC, a CAC, or just buying my way into the game, I want to be in the game. I want my own competitor. Other than that, Jeff Fox, really great GM. I've gotten to know him over the last couple of weeks. He is he's doing, I don't know if you saw the announcement, he's doing a big Underworld event where he's doing, in one bracket, it's 2 pods of veteran Underworld champions. And then the other bracket is people is like up and comers that he's taken notice of. So in that in that bracket is me, Swaggy D, Lucky Cat Neko, Drew Madsen of the TVA, Mackenzie. You know, it's a good bracket of people. And win or lose, like, I want to just get my name out there for future title opportunities. Like, I would love to win. I would love to be Underworld champion. But regardless, I just want to have fun. Like, this game is fun. Like, I love playing this game with everybody.
Which is the
And
most
just
important.
yeah, I had to learn that at first. There for a long time, I was head like I've got to win a belt. I've got to win a belt. I didn't realize that I wasn't having as much fun as I would just playing like normal. But but yeah, just a prestige thing though. For you is just knowing that you've got at least a chance. You've got your name and you've been noticed.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
It really it was it really made me feel like really good that I was on Schmidt's radar for even being offered the triad shot in place of him.
Hmm.
And it really makes me feel good that I was on Jeff Fox's radar to be offered this shot at being in the Underworld scene. Like, it's really great that people see like the up and comers and they're like, okay, I don't want like the same 5 people being champion. Like, let's see what these new guys can do.
Which is very important for the health of the game. Because it doesn't matter how many old players you have, it's the new blood that
Yeah. And that's sort of, I kind of like the hardcore belt, or like I made a United States belt that gets passed around a whole lot, and those, those are kind of meant for people that don't really get as it's kind of like an kind of like an upbringing, I guess you can
Yeah.
say.
Oh yeah. And we have a store belt for Legendary, which like, that's fine. It'd be cool to be our store champ for a little while, but no, like, if I really want to like go for that tri-state title, for those tri-state tag titles.
yeah.
Like, I have been gunning for that tri-state title since I joined. And I was like, I'm not going to get it now, but in a few months, let's see where it goes.
That, John.
After what he did to me at FreeCon, I want to take that title off of him. So FreeCon was a CAC that was also paying for the competitor of a departed SRG member named Cam. I was facing John P in that game, in that CAC, right before Top Cuts, and we were having a real crowd meter 5 banger. We were decked out. He was playing Donation V2 that came with the last Kickstarter, and I was playing Kenny Omega. At some point, he realized I'm not beating him normal, and he won the turn roll, and he just won via count out because he gimmicked on Donation and he couldn't draw. I was 1 turn from winning. I was this close to being in Top Cut for that.
Count out was a big thing for me. That count out was always my favorite to go back then.
People forget about it being a legitimate way of winning.
That was rough for me. That was rough. That was a devastating loss for me. I mean, John P is also a very good friend, so I'm not truly mad. I was never truly mad. It was a really good match, and that's all I cared about. But that was this close to Top Cut, and I
Hopefully, you'll get closer and closer, especially with you
yeah.
going to this Captain Con this Saturday.
Yeah. This
Get
Saturday
that
is freaking.
revenge. Get that
Here's I
revenge.
don't know if he's going. I don't
Probably
know
not.
if he's going. But I'm hoping. I'm hoping that I have a good showing. I'm hoping that everybody has a good showing there. Because that's gonna be a lot of fun just spending the weekend with my friends. That's all I care
That's
about.
the main.
So, Hold the Line Harry was asking, are you going to be at Grand Gathering?
You were not here, I guess, in the chat when I brought it up. I am going to Grand Gathering. I am taking the road trip with Le Penguin, my good friend Jeff, and the Empress. We're taking off from my house Thursday morning, and we are going to be there hopefully by noon Thursday.
Nice.
Have
It's
it.
always
Grand Gathering.
And we are going to be there from Thursday to Monday. So I'll see you guys all weekend.
I'm looking forward to it, buddy. It's always good to, either at least have one person right up there with you. I can't stand being alone.
You
It
know,
drives
I've
me insane.
I've done solo drives before. It's not bad. You know what? It gives me a chance to catch up on my podcasts and stuff. I don't listen to music really much anymore in the car. Like I listen to it when I'm sitting here at my computer. Like I have my Spotify going while we're talking right now. But like I listen to podcasts because it sounds like I'm listening to friends have a conversation.
What a way.
That's
Those are some of the best travel things, man. Like like I could just listen to people talk for like ages. Like conversations are probably like some of the best. Like conversations with people are probably like some of the best things you could do.
Almost
You could you could know somebody your whole life and through a single conversation probably learn something you've never known about them like years down the line.
Oh, definitely.
Like so like I love just having those long car rides with friends
hmm
and just like you're forced to come up with conversations so you learn more about each other as the road trip goes on like 14 hours, you know.
And always I like telling stories. So if it's a super show event, it's always cool to, reflect and go
Yeah.
back to things. You're like, wow,
Oh
it's
yeah.
been
Well, Jason, we're going to learn a little more about you real quick as we do some rapid fire questions.
Fantastic.
So, first question is pineapple or sheep?
Sheep. Pineapple is an abomination and what it taints any kind of pizza it goes on.
Makes sense. Cat or dog?
That's a tough one. Growing up, I was always a dog person, but I have somewhere in this room a little guy cat that I've raised since he was a month old. So that's my baby boy right there.
Horse or shark?
I feel like this is a trick question. Like trying to get someone to believe that these two are one and the same person, but they clearly are not. But I am gonna go with horse because that shark is a menace.
Candyman Dan or Candyman?
I like Candy Man, but I talk to Candy Ma'am a lot more than I talk to Candy Man, so Candy Ma'am.
Okay.
so
And then Nightmare King or the Dark Prince?
I don't know who this Dark Prince guy is. I don't think he exists. So Nightmare King.
And then the one Eto always likes Huskus the cow or Willow the wolf.
I'm gonna say Huskus the cow because watching Jim Bias and Matt Nealon beat up Edo in that promo a few months back and stealing Huskus is probably one of the best things I've ever
It was
seen.
very
just seeing Edo go, ooh, ah.
When you said you don't know when you said you don't know who Dark Prince is, he did raise his hand.
We'll get to that question. But Ohio Gaming Alliance, we know and love them. And it's Union or the Corporate.
Oh.
Do note that if depending on your answer, you may lose the support of the Union.
Oh, definitely the Union. I'm definitely part of the Union. You see that, John Calais?
He's trying to wink at
subtly.
All right, and we have a question.
Oh no,
Dark
Foreman
Prince.
doesn't seem
Go
to
ahead.
like that.
So you don't know nothing about me, huh? Is that
Who are
why I'm
you?
hearing there, Jason Fausone?
Who are you?
Seriously? I'm
Who
the
are
Dark
you?
Prince, the
You sound like the
Patrick
Nightmare King.
champion. No, that's past tense, you peasant.
Oh,
Peasant.
okay. Oh,
But I
alright.
got a question. I got two questions for you, sir.
Okay.
There's two questions. One of them will be hard, one of them will be easy. Who is your dream opponent in LFF?
My dream opponent in the LFF. That's a really good question. That's really hard because I've already had so many really good matches. Between Mark Perry and Hold the Line Harry. I've already I lose consistently to John P. So my dream opponent. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and I hope Steve Resk takes notice of it. My dream match, my dream opponent, right now, this very instant, I want to take back that United States title in the name of America from Hold the Line Harry.
Okay. Second one. If you were in any type of company and you were going after tag titles, who will you bring with you and which company will you go for?
That's a really good question. I would want to go for the... If you had asked me this maybe 3-4 weeks ago, I would have said I would take Kenny Omega against the Briscoes. However, it's sad that Jay has passed. So
Yes,
I would
yes,
go
yeah.
for the AEW tag team titles against the Acclaim with Darby Allin. Love
Yeah.
Darby Allin. Darby Allin is fantastic. He's become one of my favorite wrestlers.
Okay, well, thank you for answering that.
You're very welcome,
Terry,
Nightmare King.
It's Dark Prince, you peasant. Carry on, guys. Bye, man.
Jeez.
I mean, I'm from New York. I'm no peasant. He's from New Jersey, so there's the peasantry.
I'm from Kentucky. I don't know what that means.
You're okay.
To build
We
on
got-
the first question, who with you going to both of these in-person events and them being relatively large events with the Grand Gathering, one of the biggest events in Super Show or at it. Who are you looking forward to playing in person?
Who am I looking forward to playing in person? In person at Captain Con, somebody I haven't met in person yet. I would love to play against. I would really love to play against Jeremy Steigerwald. Jeremy Steigerwald is going to be at Captain Con. For people who don't live in the tri-state area, I had the pleasure at FreeCon to play against Bob Dunn, who flew up. But Jeremy Steigerwald, I'm sure I'm gonna play against him in a tournament. But I for this weekend. And for Grand Gathering, that's tough because of the nature of Grand Gathering. Just any of my friends that I don't see. Whether it's if you're going, Paul, if you're Chibi, sorry.
Everyone makes that
Yeah,
mistake.
you sound like that Paul guy I know. Whether it's you or Mark Perry, whoever, man, like I would love to face anybody in person.
Grand Gathering, it's usually there's a lot of free time, which I think Grand Gathering 1 we stayed really late. Like one night,
They got very, very drunk.
yeah. We had bartenders playing Super Show.
I heard about that.
But yeah, you'll definitely get a chance to play a lot of people, whether it's just for fun or just tournaments.
I just sent in my not just, but like a week or two or like a week ago, I sent in my questionnaire to Calais. So here's hoping we find out who we get, so we can start teching and figuring out what we're doing. I actually have a question for you guys regarding Grand Gathering.
Okay.
So it's pretty much set in stone that we've all sent in our questionnaires.
Mm-hmm.
Who'd you guys pick for your number ones? No, people can't steal it now.
There's only one number one.
Oh, nice.
I chose my character, GPS.
Nice. I'm taking a long shot. I chose Hangman Adam Page. That's probably going to be taken, but I have a really spicy pick at number 3 in case Kenny and Hangman Page are taken. So.
I'm coming in. Yes, I'm sorry. I have a baby in my arms. Every time I try to talk loud, she wakes up a little bit.
You're fine, buddy.
But yeah,
well,
that was my choice. You know, I was like, might as well try it.
Alrighty. Well, we're at towards the end of the show, and usually what we do, I know you ask us questions, but you can ask us something that,
Actual question.
yes, you can ask us an actual question if you would like.
So, I have one question for each of you.
Okay.
So, Dustin, what are your goals going into this year?
My goals,
being a gosh dang great host. That's what you're doing.
but one of my goals is to, time and time again, I say I've took time away from this game. I want to not be this, which granted I was a little bit younger then, but because like 6 years ago I was 22, but 28 now. But there's a little bit of a difference. But I want to get back to the not saying I'm not enjoying the game, because I am. I always enjoy playing and stuff like that. I want to get I think I have a little ring rust that I need to I can still play. I know I can build. I know I can play. There's been a lot of cards since I've been gone that I've got to get used to. Back then, you could just say number 14 and just say, you could ask me a question during a game and I could be like, oh yeah, he's got to stop, or he's got, something certain. I want to get back to being the player that I once was. I think I need to work on myself a little bit. I have goals. I've always wanted to get a. I had one title shot. I lost in 4 turns on online Grand Gathering 2. That's the only shot I've ever had, other than a Bluegrass Championship before it was popular. But um, I'd like to try to work and get a title shot and try to go back to being the player that I once was.
Okay, and Chibi,
Yeah.
this so if who this year do you want to face most in Super Show?
Who do I want to face?
Who do you want to face the most this year in Super Show?
I want to face the Super Show heavyweight champion, Big Match Pete.
I would love to see that. I would love to see Big Match Pete versus Chibi. I think that would be a fantastic match. And I know we're closing in on the end, but I saw Harry ask a question in the Twitch chat. So Harry, Pluto is the spicy third pick.
That is a very spicy pick.
I think Pluto would be really good in the grand battle. So I
I,
threw him in there.
I think he's in my top 3 as well. Pluto is one of my top decks. I have fun playing with as well.
Pluto's a
I
great
play a lot.
competitor.
I play a lot of him in tournaments.
All right, but Justin, do you want to do the wrap up? Who do we have for next week?
All right, for next week I have sorry, I'm looking at I've got my list because I actually have a whole list that goes into next month. Next week we are gonna have Joseph McGregor on the show.
The foreman himself.
He's gonna be on the show, and I'm looking forward to it as always. Um,
Good. Very.
and he was also mentioning that he was happy to be on this show right after Capicon too. So
Joe's another
I
guy
think-
who's become a really good friend. I really like Joe.
All right, folks, but that's our show. Thank you all for watching.
Oh, and Jason, thank you for being on the show, buddy. Looking forward
thank
to
you
seeing
guys
you.
for having me.
Please tune in later on tonight on the Super Show Twitch channel for the dojo, starting in about an hour, as well as catching Got Next immediately following the dojo.
I don't know if that was actually karate.
No clue.
It looked more like you
All
were
right.
dabbing.
Until next time, can I get a bye, man?
Bye, man.
I'll see y'all later.
Rude.
All right.
You guys did an amazing job. I gotta give it to you.